Rework by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson, the founders of Basecamp, formerly known as 37 Signals, is a groundbreaking book that challenges conventional business practices and provides alternative, often counterintuitive advice on how to run a successful company. The book, first published in 2010, is a collection of insights that challenge traditional views on work, business, and success. It advocates for a new approach to entrepreneurship that is focused on simplicity, efficiency, and flexibility, rather than on growth for the sake of growth, traditional corporate culture, or complex management systems. The basics: working smarter, not harder. At its core, Rework is about working smarter, not harder. Fried and Hansson argue that the typical advice given to entrepreneurs, such as raising tons of capital, working 100-hour weeks, or expanding rapidly, is flawed. Instead, they advocate for a simpler approach. Do less, but do it better. The authors argue that small businesses can thrive by focusing on their core strengths and eliminating unnecessary distractions, rather than constantly trying to grow or outpace competitors. This is one of the fundamental ideas of Rework, that the old rules of business are outdated and unnecessary. Planning is overrated. In traditional business literature, planning is often seen as a critical step to success. Entrepreneurs are often advised to meticulously plan their strategies for the next 3 to 5 years. Rework takes a different stance. The authors argue that detailed long-term planning is not only unnecessary, but can also be counterproductive. They believe that businesses should remain flexible and adjust quickly to changes in the market, rather than rigidly sticking to a plan that may no longer be relevant. In the modern world, where things change quickly, businesses need to be nimble and able to react swiftly to new opportunities or challenges. The book advises entrepreneurs to focus on what they can do right now and make decisions on the fly. This is particularly relevant in the fast-paced world of technology, where innovation is constant, and what worked a year ago might no longer be applicable today. By not over-planning and instead focusing on short-term goals, companies can avoid wasting time and resources on ideas that may never come to fruition. Start small and stay small. Another key message in Rework is that entrepreneurs should start small and remain small if possible. Many business books advocate for rapid scaling and growth, but Fried and Hansson suggest that small businesses are often more efficient and profitable than large ones. The idea is to build a company that is sustainable and manageable, rather than chasing after exponential growth that may result in unsustainable operations and eventual failure. The authors emphasize the importance of maintaining a lean structure. They advocate for avoiding unnecessary hiring and office space, suggesting that companies should focus on making the most out of their existing resources. For instance, the authors argue that in the early stages of a business, you don't need a large team or fancy office space. What you need is a great product and a clear vision. Embrace constraints. Rework also highlights the value of constraints. Many entrepreneurs view constraints as obstacles, but the authors suggest that they can actually be a powerful tool for innovation. When resources, money, time, people are limited, companies are forced to be creative and find new ways to solve problems. In fact, many of the best ideas come from working within constraints. For example, when Basecamp first started, they had limited resources and needed to be resourceful in how they approached their work. This constraint forced them to focus on building a simple, efficient product that met their customers' needs. Fried and Hansson argue that constraints are not something to be avoided, but something to embrace. Constraints encourage simplicity and innovation, as they force companies to focus on the essentials and eliminate the non-essential. Don't waste time on perfection. Another major point of the book is that perfection is overrated. Many entrepreneurs and businesses spend excessive time refining and perfecting their product or service, but this often leads to delays and wasted resources. Rework advocates for a good enough approach. launch your product or service as soon as it meets the minimum viable requirements, and then improve it based on customer feedback. Perfectionism, according to Fried and Hansson, can paralyze companies and prevent them from moving forward. By constantly trying to perfect a product, companies delay launching, miss market opportunities, and waste time on details that may not even matter to customers. Instead, the authors recommend getting your product out into the world quickly and iterating based on real-world feedback. Say no to meetings. Meetings are another topic Fried and Hansson tackle in Rework. They argue that meetings are one of the biggest time wasters in business. Meetings often go off-topic, run longer than expected, and accomplish very little. The authors advocate for avoiding unnecessary meetings and suggest that businesses should only hold meetings when they are absolutely necessary. If a meeting can be avoided or replaced with a quick email or a short conversation, it should be. The authors argue that meetings disrupt the flow of work and distract employees from what matters most, getting things done. By cutting out unnecessary meetings, employees can focus on their work and be more productive. Hiring and company culture. Hiring is another area where Rework offers unconventional advice. Many businesses focus on hiring people who fit a predefined set of qualifications or look for candidates who have the perfect resume. Fried and Hansson argue that instead of focusing on resumes, businesses should hire people who are passionate about the work, have a strong work ethic, and fit well with the company's culture. In fact, they suggest that skills can be learned, but attitude and culture fit are much harder to teach. The authors also argue that companies should build a culture that values flexibility, creativity, and autonomy. This type of culture is key to attracting and retaining talented employees who are motivated to do great work. According to Rework, a company's culture should be a reflection of its values and should be built intentionally. Interruption is the enemy of productivity. Rework also talks about the dangers of interruption in the workplace. In a modern office environment, employees are often bombarded with emails, messages, and calls, which can significantly reduce productivity. The book advises creating a work environment where employees can focus without constant interruptions. One way to do this is by setting clear communication guidelines, such as limiting the use of email or setting aside specific times for meetings. By creating a workplace that minimizes distractions, employees can do their best work and produce more in less time. This, in turn, allows companies to be more efficient and effective, ultimately leading to better results. Conclusion. In Rework, Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson present a refreshing and bold perspective on entrepreneurship. By challenging conventional wisdom and offering practical, actionable advice, the book provides an alternative roadmap for entrepreneurs who want to build successful, sustainable businesses. Whether it's about working smarter, embracing constraints, or cutting out unnecessary meetings, Rework offers a valuable set of principles for modern business leaders. At its heart, the book advocates for simplicity, efficiency, and the rejection of unnecessary complexity in business. By following the advice in Rework, entrepreneurs can build companies that are lean, adaptable, and focused on what really matters, creating great products, serving customers, and staying true to their vision. The book serves as a wake-up call for anyone caught up in the traditional mindset of business growth and corporate culture and offers a path toward a more efficient, productive, and enjoyable way of working.
If you want to buy this ebook, the link is in the description. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing summaries and tips.